Test, test. Hello. Okay, 8:31 a.m. London time, just off of the London Open. The number of pairs we're going over today is going to be kind of shortened, mainly due to the fact the market's heavily range bound. I don't think there's going to be much of a move for us to capture until the New York session on the majority of pairs. With that said, we'll cover the GJ sells that we have in place, and we will also cover the Bitcoin sells that we have in place. So literally on this candle, we've just hit break even on GBP JPY. Okay, not a problem whatsoever. We banked profits down here at the 188 zone. Now the remainder hit break even. So if I pull up the Discord here, we banked 0.65R last night when it was running 100 pips. Remainder hit at break even, no problem whatsoever. Okay, so I'm just gonna get a screenshot of this. I'll post it in the Discord and make sure that we're staying up to date with regard to our results. What I would like to do, however, is if I come switch over to this chart, I want to take a look at GJ from this perspective and potentially consider this re-entry with much cleaner risk dynamics. So the entry that I have in mind is literally within the zone that we're trading right now. So if we can show over the next set of candles of this in this early London session some curvature on the upside, some wicks into the upside as we're slowly forming here at this Fibonacci pocket, in confluence with this volume, this excess volume that was being traded yesterday between London and the New York switchover. If we can get rejection from this zone, I'm going to look to take sells, and I'm going to look to take them down to the lows that we had formed last night, pre-Asia, early Asia. Okay, these are going to be the lows down here at 187.50, 187.45. Obviously, we can still play to our other levels, 186.56 and 186.0. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. For the time being, I'm looking at this trade here on GJ. The stop is going to actually be kind of small, 45, 50-ish pips. The reason being, I don't think we need to place the stop above these highs. I think these highs are set for the week. I would like to think these highs are set for the week. We have the equal highs, we tap people out, and then we had this super violent move. As long as we have some type of rejection from here in the next set of candles, there's no reason for us to come and take these highs out. We should have taken enough liquidity for the highs to be set and for us to have some continuation. And there's much cleaner volume for us to be taking towards the downside at this point onwards. Alternatively, if I'm wrong, we know that the next move, as I've said on many of the updates, is into this 189.820. That will occur if we get above this fib zone. If we get above this FIP zone and we start priming for a move above these highs here, then we're going to go straight into 189.820. Again, we'll cross that bridge when we get there, but we have a short bias for the time being. This is the trade that I'm going to be looking to take on GJ. Once some of the candles provide the relevant entry dynamics and the general structure of the individual candles are indicative of weakness, then I'm going to post that I've got my entry, so on and so forth. That's how I'm seeing GJ. Okay, so we're out of the first position for a small profit. The remainder is at a break even, and we're eyeing up this secondary position here from 189 or 188.950. Moving on, we're going to take a look at BTC. So this was an entry that I gave on the live stream yesterday. This fib pocket here. We had a retest of it upon the FOMC. We just had this massive violence to the downside. What we are currently doing now is we are reverting back and retesting into the imbalance left by this candle at 6:30 UK London time. If we are just having a simple fill of this gap, that's all it is going to be, filling the dead volume or the lack of volume within this gap, then we can just see continuation to the downside. 83,000 is our first target. Below 83k, I believe this is going to be cascade into 81,000 to 79.9 and all the other targets that I mentioned. What I would like to note, and I briefly glossed over in one of the other channels, if I come up to the daily on Bitcoin here, I want you guys to pay attention to this daily structure. So if you pay attention to the previous 5 or 6 daily candles, we've come to trade into this zone start area of imbalance. Traded into it and closed. Very next day, massive rejection. We traded into it, rejection. Traded into it, massive rejection. Yesterday we traded into it again, rejection. This daily candle potentially today or tomorrow is practically the decision candle, alright? If we start breaking below these, this set of daily highs, or daily lows, sorry, here, the 83k, 83.500 zone, if we get daily closes below here, then the 74.5k target becomes, for me, the next point of interest almost imminently. Okay, as soon as a daily closure comes below this 83,000 level. Reason being, if we know this has taken place inside the volume imbalance, we're showing clear weakness with the wicks to the upside. The wicks to the upside showing that sellers are taking control of the market at these prices. Secondly, what have we got here? This rounded off structure, clearly very indicative of a top. What did we have on this top? A rounded off structure, wicks into the upside. It's a common thing that you're going to see. It demonstrates the slowdown of momentum. It essentially demonstrates profit taking as well from people who got into the move from down here. And as has been mentioned countless times in the recent updates, these lows at 74k, 74.5k are poor lows. They're primed for the taking. Okay, these lows are primed for the taking, so we do have them as with an area of gravitation and magnetization in mind. If I come down to the 4-hour on Bitcoin, what I would just like to mention is obviously we're having this imbalance retest, as I showed on the previous chart. This is also in confluence with our fib zone here. Okay, we've tapped into the fib zone once, rejected perfectly. If we come into, my bad, if we come and take the Fibonacci level from here instead, you can see on this kind of immediate term, maybe a bit clearer on the 1 hour, we're also testing into this Fibonacci level here, which is in accordance with the volume imbalance. A rejection from this zone would be really nice. If we're not going to reject from this zone, then we want at the very least just a sweep of the highs at 85.5k. If price starts trading above 85.5, I will have to consider the idea that my thesis is wrong on Bitcoin and look to manage the position in a different way to potentially exit the sells. We need a violent downside move to begin over today or tomorrow. Okay, obviously we had a nice setup with this first move on Tuesday and then yesterday's violent FOMC move. We need continuation on this today, otherwise price would have spent too much time. It would have spent simply too much time up at these levels, and buyers would have had enough time to step into the market and take control and push us to 88,000. So for the time being, GJ and Bitcoin are the two pairs that I'm fixated on. Obviously Bitcoin is mainly on this higher time frame work, so the updates are going to be few and far between. However, GBP JPY, if it offers us this sell entry, the dynamics are starting to look pretty good right now, then I'm going to post it in the relevant channel. Okay, that is all for me for early into this London setup. I'm going to be tracking GJ, and then when it comes to the New York switchover, the New York Open, I'm going to get a heavy update out and try to get push out a lot of ideas, a lot of potential setups and things that I'm seeing. That's all for me for the time being, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Trade safe. Cheers.